Amazon has recently admitted that camera footage captured by your Ring devices is regularly handed over to police. That is without your consent and even without a warrant. So now we find this out thanks to questions posed by Senator Ed Markey. So now the company, under questioning, stated that it had provided police with user footage at least 11 times this year alone without a warrant or any consent from the user, from the customer. According to The Intercept, last month, Markey wrote to Amazon asking it to both clarify Ring's ever-expanding relationship with the American police, who've increasingly come to rely on the company's growing residential surveillance dragnet, and to commit to a raft of policy reforms. In a July 1st response from Brian Huseman, Amazon Vice President of Public Policy, the company declined to permanently agree to any of those reforms. No, we're not interested, including to never accept financial contributions from policing agencies. So if this company, Ring, wants to take money from the police, they'll still take money from the police. And gee, I wonder why they're now handing over all of this personal data, all of this surveillance footage over to cops, so you can keep those donations going. Also, to never allow immigration enforcement agencies to request Ring recordings. Didn't promise on that, which means, of course, ICE is going to get that. And to never participate in police sting operations. Now, a lot of this is, of course, wildly against the right to privacy. But Ring says, oh, no, hey, look, we've only handed it over a few times, okay? And it's only under emergency situations, okay? And by the way, their public policy is kind of different than what they had told Markey. They publicized their policy of only handing over camera footage if the owner agrees or if the judge has a search warrant, so they are lying to their consumers. Great. Now, they are claiming, though, that we have the right to supply police with footage in case of emergencies. Well, now, okay, that's a vaguely defined term. So what do they define it as? Cases brought involving imminent danger or death and serious physical injury to any person. Markey asked Amazon to clarify what exactly constitutes this emergency situation and how many times audiovisual surveillance data has been provided under these circumstances. The company declined to elaborate on how it defines these emergencies beyond, again, imminent danger of death or serious physical injury. Again, that is vague. That can mean a lot of different things. If you're not going to be very clear about these situations, then we can't trust you. Now, they stated only that Ring makes a good faith determination whether the request meets the well-known standard. Huseman noted that it complied with 11 emergency requests this year alone, but did not provide details as to what the cases or Ring's good faith determination entailed. That is very, very troubling. As far as I'm concerned, law enforcement lies. Law enforcement lies all the time. It's a fact. And obviously, since these police organizations are not barred from giving money to these companies like Ring, these big tech companies, well, big tech, of course, loves working with police. They love it. They love it. And even if the footage used ultimately does meet any emergency guidelines and goes to save lives, the fact that we don't know what constitutes a good faith determination, that means that there's no clear rules. So if you're going to set up a Ring system, you don't know what to expect with your own data, who it's going to be shared with, for why. And if the cops are going to get their data with probable cause. Remember, the Fourth Amendment is supposed to protect people from unreasonable search and seizure by the government. But now we have a corporation that is determining whether or not they will supply that information to the government. So they're seizing your data and giving it right to the government, all without your knowledge or a warrant. And remember, in order to get a warrant, there has to be probable cause. And now we're having a corporation, we're having Ring being the arbiter of what is probable cause? Seriously? Hell no. No, this is ridiculous. These are unelected corporate executives that are making these decisions. So now how do you protect yourself? Obviously, the first thing is don't get a Ring. But secondly, if you do have one, then Matthew Gariglia, policy analyst with the Electronic Frontier Foundation, he has some advice of how to protect yourself. He told The Intercept that he encourages all Ring owners concerned about warrantless access of their cameras to enable end-to-end encryption, an option the company declined to make the default setting after being urged to do so by Ed Markey. I'm disturbed, Gariglia says, that Ring continues to offer, in any situation, warrantless footage from users' devices, despite the fact that, once again, police are not the customers for Ring. The people who buy the devices are the customers. He added that even though the emergency exception hypothetically might be warranted in the most dire circumstances, there will always be risks of mission creep and police abuse without any meaningful oversight. If there is the infrastructure, if there is the channel by which police can request footage without a warrant or consent of the user, under what circumstances they get is out of our control. I worry that because it's decided by the police and by somebody at Ring, there will be temptation to use that for increasingly less urgent situations. And we do have examples of, police or governmental agencies that are using this data, that are abusing this data. The metadata collection, for example, that revealed by Edward Snowden, that being abused. Of course, the spying in on Muslims in New York. You also had the the NSA spying on U.S. troops that were having phone sex with their wives. And the reason they did it is, well, they could, and no one was there to stop them. In a statement to The Intercept, Markey said that he believed that Amazon and Ring have both lost the benefit of the doubt, despite their purported good faith efforts. I'm deeply concerned to learn that the company has repeatedly disclosed users' recordings to law enforcement without requiring the user's permission, the senator added. This revelation is particularly troubling given that the company has previously admitted to having no policies that restrict how law enforcement can use Ring users' footage, no data security requirements for law enforcement entities that have users' footage, and no policies to prohibit law enforcement officers from keeping Ring users' footage forever. If you care about privacy, you might want to think twice about not getting these devices, and if you do, of course, make sure to encrypt it. Now, unfortunately, we live in a surveillance state where you have a government that doesn't care at all about privacy. At all. And then you have big companies, big corporations, because we live under corporate rule, that are more than willing to cozy up to police in return for donations, to literally sell you out.